When an engineer is promoted to solution architect, the first instinct is often to stay in their comfort zone, writing code and building systems. But treating this new role like a senior developer job is a trap. The moment a client asks for a new feature, the impulse is to say yes and immediately start drawing boxes and arrows on a whiteboard. You treat discovery like a simple requirements gathering session. Acting as a technical order taker skips the crucial step of defining the business constraints. You end up building beautiful, technically perfect systems that solve the wrong problems, leading to massive budget overruns and abandoned projects. To survive, you have to leave the technical execution of the engine room. You need to ride the elevator up to the penthouse and understand the financial and strategic realities driving those technical requests. That shift in perspective happens in exactly one place, the initial discovery meeting. This is the arena where you prove your value not by the code you write, but by the questions you ask. The power dynamic of a software project is decided in the first 5 minutes. If you walk into that room without a plan, the client will set the terms. Opening a blank notepad and asking what they want to build immediately hands over strategic control. You have positioned yourself as a scribe before the real work begins. Instead, you take control of the conversation using a structure known as ILPA. It's a method for guiding the prospect so they feel comfortable letting you lead. The acronym stands for Introduction, Last Time We Spoke, Purpose, and Agenda. By immediately stating why everyone is there and what will be covered, you draw the boundaries of the discussion before a single technical requirement is mentioned. This structure forces the client to answer your questions rather than dictate features. You shift your posture from order taker to a consultative advisor, determining if their goals are actually feasible. Once you have the floor, you face a room of stakeholders who want completely different things. You might have the CEO on one side and the CTO on the other. The CEO is driven by return on investment, market share, and delivery speed. The CTO is worried about managing technical debt, preventing data breaches, and maintaining a stable system. As the architect, you have to practice persona switching. You have to listen to a single request and instantly translate it to satisfy both leaders. When the business asks for a real-time dashboard, you must translate that feature request into rigid, non-functional requirements. You ask them to define what real-time means for latency, what the peak concurrent user volume is, and what consistency level is acceptable. Then you deliver a solution speaking to both floors of the elevator in the same breath. You explain that using an event-driven design protects the core platform from downtime, satisfying the CTO, which allows the company to launch the feature months faster, satisfying the CEO. You build trust by proving to everyone in the room that your technical choices are indistinguishable from their business choices. Even with trust established, the business will push for commitments. Giving a flat yes or no to a new requirement during early discovery is incredibly dangerous. Instead, you answer with 2 words: it depends. This response acts as a tactical forcing function to ground client expectations in reality. Every system design is built on trade-offs. You cannot optimize reliability, performance, cost, and security simultaneously. You frame the reality. You can achieve their desired outcome, but it costs a specific constraint. To optimize for speed, they must trade away deep customization. By making them choose, you force the business stakeholders to acknowledge that engineering limits exist and that their priorities have direct technical costs. This process defines the boundaries of the project. It stops scope creep before it starts by outlining a rigid, defensible perimeter around the work. A properly executed discovery phase leaves you with a secure perimeter. You've harvested the exact scope of the project and mapped out the constraints your team will work within. Without this process, you hold a vague wish list of features that inevitably breaks the budget. With it, that chaos solidifies into an executable plan. The role of the solution architect is to design the alignment between business ambition and technical reality. This moves the focus from drafting software specifications to architecting strategic outcomes. Controlling the room, translating competing motives, and anchoring every decision in a clear trade-off marks the transition from taking orders to setting strategy. A properly executed discovery phase leaves you with a secure perimeter. You've harvested the exact scope of the project and mapped out the constraints your team will work within. Without this process, you're left holding a vague wish list that will break the budget. With it, that chaos solidifies into an executable plan. The role of the solution architect is to design the alignment between business ambition and technical reality. This moves the focus from drafting software specifications to architecting strategic outcomes. Controlling the room, translating competing motives, and anchoring every decision in a clear trade-off marks the transition from taking orders to setting strategy.